Good evening, everyone. Please, can you mute yourself? Okay, good evening, everyone. Please, can you all hear me? Please, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, ma, I can hear you. Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you. Good evening.
Thank you. So, I want to welcome you all to our Value Field webinar. And for today, we are going to be talking about basically two things. That is the LinkedIn Optimization 1.0 and the Tech Ember Challenge. And we are going to be having two speakers for that. Our first speaker is person of Mr. Ridwan Abdurrahman, an engineer, yeah, agricultural and medical science engineer. He is going to be our first speaker for today. He currently works as a research assistant at Artificial Intelligence and Robotic Lab, Gombe State University, and he recently published a paper on the integration of drone technology with efficient nets for real-time tomato leaf disease classification. So please, I want you guys to help me welcome our first speaker as he takes the mic.
Sir. Okay.
Mr.
Yeah,
Ridwan,
welcome, sir.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
good evening, sir. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Like I've been introduced, my name is Abdurrahman Ridwanullah, and I'm a graduate of Agricultural and Biosystems Engineering from the University of Ilorin. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
So I'm a graduate of Agricultural and Biosystems Engineering, University of Ilorin, and currently I serve as a research assistant at the Artificial Intelligence and Robotics Lab, Gombe State University, Gombe, Nigeria. So thank you for having me here once again, and I'll be the one taking you through the world of LinkedIn optimization. So permit me to share my screen. All right. Can you see my screen now, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. So what we'll be talking on today is LinkedIn optimization, and I want you to be rest assured. I believe everybody on this call is either a data analyst, or a data scientist, or a machine learning engineer, or somebody who is on another tech stack which is different from data. Irrespective of who you are, I believe that at the end of this webinar, we're going to learn one or two things on how we can optimize our LinkedIn. And I want you to be rest assured that this webinar is not a kind between a teacher and a student. Rather, it's a webinar between colleagues, and it is an avenue for you, me, and everybody on this call to learn one or two things. So by the end of this webinar, I believe that everybody will have gained something in the way they can optimize their LinkedIn. So without further ado, let's dive into it. This is what we'll be doing. We'll be talking about the introduction to LinkedIn, why your Outlook are very important, how to optimize your LinkedIn account, how to build network, how to become a creator, and we conclude. And after everything, questions will be welcomed and interaction will be flowing. So like I said earlier, I said this webinar is going to be an interactive session, and it's going to be for everybody to learn. So for that reason, I want this webinar to be practical. It to be very practical. Whether you are new to LinkedIn, whether you're an amateur, whether you've been using LinkedIn for 3 years, it doesn't matter. This particular session will be a learning avenue for us. And like I said, it will be a practical session. We'll be using somebody's account. We'll be going to LinkedIn once in a while to check on what we're doing, and then we can always follow up later. So the first question, am I audible, please?
Yes, you are, sir.
All right. So without wasting any further time, why LinkedIn? Why LinkedIn? You know, we normally see in various places, I mean, social media, we see them talking about LinkedIn optimization. You see people organizing classes for LinkedIn optimization. In fact, some people pay a lot of money to teach to learn how to optimize their LinkedIn. Personally, I'm speaking, I've been into conferences and I've been into webinars in which they taught us how to optimize our LinkedIn. And you think about, why are they talking about LinkedIn optimization? Why are they not talking about TikTok optimization? Why are they not talking about Twitter optimization? Why are they not talking about Instagram optimization? All of them, they are social media, are they not? But why LinkedIn? Why LinkedIn? Why is it that it is LinkedIn that everybody is talking about? Okay, the answer to this question is on the next slide. Before I jump into that, can I get somebody who can just give us maybe what can be the possible answer why it is the LinkedIn that everybody is talking about? I mean, when you go to professional world, they'll be talking about LinkedIn. Why LinkedIn? Why not any other social media? Give us, let us be interactive, please. Hello, are you there? Hello.
Yeah, please, if someone want to speak, just unmute themselves and speak.
Yeah, you can just unmute yourself and speak. And okay. Thank you so much for the input. You are very correct. You are very right. So, LinkedIn was originally developed in 2002 and it was launched in 2003. Since then, it has been growing to what has become today. It has become a platform for professionals. When you're talking about a professional platform, you know, like you rightly said, you can't expect me to go to TikTok looking for professors on TikTok. Even the professors may be on TikTok, but then what they are doing on TikTok is not relating to what they do as professionals. When you go to Twitter, you may meet professors there, yes, you may even get an opportunity there. But Twitter is a street where a lot of people are. You see people who catch crews there. You even see people who post nude photos and content on Twitter. And Instagram, you see you see all these celebrities. They post songs, they post videos and everything. So, but the only medium that stands out for professionals, like those people who are in the fields, like professors, like people who are, let's say, in tech fields, is LinkedIn. And today, LinkedIn has about 1 billion members in all over the world. And you can see a lot of people you meet there, you know, just imagine within your locality, how many people do you know? How many people know you? But look at LinkedIn. You can meet with people, even though you've not met them physically. You can make impact in the world, even if you've not met them physically. So that's an avenue which LinkedIn gives to you. So today, like we know, we're gonna be talking about how we can connect well on LinkedIn, how we can network well on LinkedIn. So I'll just go to the next slide. We're talking about personal branding. This topic of personal branding is very, very important in the sense that I don't know the demographic of the people on the call, but there's a particular adage in Yoruba that says, I'll translate in English. It says, the way you hold yourself or the way you call yourself is the way people call you. I don't know if that resonates with you. If you call yourself somebody who is very useful, people will take you to be serious. And if you call yourself, if you take yourself as somebody who is not worthy enough of people's attention, people will not give you their attention. And this is where personal branding comes in. If you go to LinkedIn, for instance, maybe you just registered on LinkedIn and you go there, you see a lot of people there. You see a lot of people. You see a lot of people with different ideologies, with different fields. You see some people coming to LinkedIn, they'll be like, "Hey, congratulations! I wish myself something, something." And why are they congratulating themselves? They just got a new laptop, or maybe they just get a new job, or maybe they just got promotion in their job. And then when you get there the first time, you'll be frustrated. You'll be like, "Oh, am I playing with my life?" You know. Let me give you a brief story. I remember when I first joined LinkedIn. I think I was in 200 back then, and I didn't know anything about LinkedIn. I just joined it. My friends advised me to join it, and I joined that. When I got there, what I saw on LinkedIn was different from what is in the reality. I mean, my friends who we sleep together in the same room. When I got to his profile on LinkedIn, I was like, wow, this my friend is different on LinkedIn than real life. I was really surprised, and I was like, guy, waiting they happen. You get it? So the issue of personal branding is how you place yourself. Now, why is personal branding very important? Years ago, when the world was not as connected as it is today, talk about thousands of years ago when we had empires. I mean, when we had the Shanghai empires, when we had a lot of empires, and all these empires they are world on their own, and then they don't relate with people outside their world. The world was literally colonies. People in China don't know people in Africa. They had nothing to do with them. Now, it was easy for you to climb the ladder of success in that particular era. Why? Because you are living among a locality. By just knowing quadratic equation, you can be a champion in your locality. Let us take the one which is very close to us as example. Everybody here knows the history about Nigeria. We had that our fathers, our forefathers, those of them that went to school back then, you see, most of them they don't even pass secondary school, but then they had good job. They could afford cars with their secondary school. And now look at us today. We are going to secondary school, we go to university, and yet we don't make what they are making, what they made back then. So now the world we are now has changed from what our parents lived in. We are now living in a global village. I mean, the interconnection is more robust than it has ever been. And for that reason, the competition has now increased because from the comfort of your room, you can see what somebody who is not even older than who is not even as old as you is doing. Be like, oh more. See, this person is just 12 years old and he has built a company. And the competition is getting, I mean, the competition is getting bigger and then stronger. So you have to distinguish yourself. So you are living in the global village now. Now, to the second point, intelligence alone is not enough. Intelligence alone is not enough. What does that mean? Like on the first one that I made, back then you can just be as intelligence like averagely, maybe you're just let's say you are the best in your class, and then before you are done, you'll be offered appointment. But today, even if you are the number one of Nigeria, I mean, you may not even get an appointment. So intelligence alone is not enough. Number three, your skills doesn't matter alone. It's always good to have skills. Yes, it's always good to have skills. But then your skills alone, without some other things, without recognition, can never take you anywhere. There are a lot of people. You should know that you may be thinking, I'm very good at what I do. But believe me, there are people who are better than you at what you do. There are people who are as better as you. But then, excuse me, please. Oh, sorry for the break. Please, I'm sorry for that. Are you still here, please?
Yeah, we are here. We can hear you.
So, like I was saying,
Yes,
I
we are
said
with you.
your skill alone doesn't matter. So, if you say your intelligence doesn't matter alone, your skill alone doesn't matter alone. There are millions of people who are like you and people who are more skilled than you. What do you need? How do you want to climb the ladder of success? The only thing you need to do is that you have to distinguish yourself. With whatever you're doing, you have to distinguish yourself. You have to let people know that, oh, this is me and this is what I do. You must have a picture. You must let people have a picture of you in their mind. You understand? Like in a particular locality, you may see some people, for instance, in your school, a lot of people they had first class. How do you want to be different? Maybe in your locality, you have a lot of designers. How do you want to be different? You have coders. How do you want to be different? How do you distinguish yourself? Showcase yourself. Now, to the last thing on that list is branding is not equal to lying. A lot of people make a mistake when they tell them to brand themselves, when they tell them to like showcase what they are made of. They call themselves what they are not. Like I remember there was a time in when I was in university. It was an evening, and I was frustrated. And why was I frustrated? I realized that a lot of people in our society, they are doing the same thing, and we tend to move in the same direction, irrespective of whether it is what we want to do or what or not. You see, this one, you say, I'm doing this, everybody's saying I'm doing this. But then when you look at them, they are just mediocrity. They are not what they call themselves. And don't let me deceive you, that is that is, if we are saying that in real life, what you see on LinkedIn about that is times 10 of what you are seeing in real life. There was a day I was on LinkedIn, and then I saw a girl posted something, and he posted a very long post, and it was like, and the girl was like, congratulations to me, I've just done this, I done that, I did that, this is a testament, you know those articles that nobody reads. Now, can you believe that what this girl was trying to celebrate was that Coursera has given her the financial aid. I believe everybody here knows about Coursera financial aid. If you know it, please, can I just hear you talk? Do you know about Coursera financial aid? So the girl
Yes,
was,
I've heard.
so the girl was, she was like, I know people say celebrate your little wins, but she came to LinkedIn and she was like, hey, this, that. And I feel like, number one, the reason why she posted it is that she felt pressured by what people are posting. It's like as if, am I wasting my life? People are posting things. And number two, she has not clearly defined who she is. If you know who you are, you know that you don't want to post something of mediocrity. Maybe in the future, when comes back to that post, she'll be like, I was very stupid to post that. You understand? So that is the last point, saying branding is not lying. You know who you are. You don't need to inflate who you are. You don't need to lie about who you are. Okay. So let's move on. Please, are we still following?
Yes, sir.
Now, before we move into how we can optimize our LinkedIn account, our LinkedIn page, there are some general tips I want us to share. These 4 questions I want us to answer it. You know, when I tell you about branding, tell us who you are. There are some things you need to like answer. If you don't know the answer to these things, you may not even find yourself. Okay. The number one is, what is your backstory? Backstory in the sense that everybody you see in this life has a particular backstory. Everybody you see in this life has a particular mission. The same way, going to LinkedIn, what is that story that brought you to LinkedIn? What is that thing that you are doing? For instance, going to LinkedIn, like I said, you see academics on LinkedIn, you see product designers on LinkedIn, you see graphics designer on LinkedIn, you see AI engineers on LinkedIn, you see a lot of professions on LinkedIn. What is your own? What's your backstory? And even this AI engineer that you choose to be, this data scientist that you choose to be, what made you go to that place? What made you choose data science instead of graphic design? What makes you choose product design instead of data science? Is it because you don't like calculation? You feel like machine learning is more of calculation? You know, all these things you have to know it within yourself. If you can answer what's your backstory, you are a step ahead. I realized that based on personal experience and based on the books I've read, and especially I would take influence from Nelson Mandela. You know, he was writing in his autobiography, he was saying that we as people, our history are similar, our stories are similar. I can always see my story in your story. If I tell my story, my life story, if I tell it well, I believe me, you find a particular point in my story where it is similar to your story, where it's relatable. So you want to know what your story is and how you can relate it to people, because people have the same feeling with you. That's the first one. You have to know your backstory, who you are. Number two, who do you want to help? Who do you want to help? There's a particular thing that people say. They say, what is more important than love? Even in a relationship, what is that thing that is more important than love? The only thing that is more important than love in a relationship and in everything you do is value. Is value. If you cannot create value, if you cannot make value, then you are useless. Not only in a relationship, but in the world. In this world that we are, just make value. When people see the value in you, they'll pay your money. That's just it. They'll come for you. But if you don't have value, nobody will come for you. And that's the question, who do you want to help? You know, the question says, who do you want to help? You are not going to say, I want to make money. Definitely everybody wants to make money, but you want to render a service to some people. Like for instance, somebody, a politician that comes and say, I want to save the citizen of, let's say, Gombe State from hunger. You know, he's portraying it as if he's helping them. But at the end of everything, you get money. So that's how you should see it. Who do you want to help on LinkedIn? Okay, maybe you want to help people who are just coming to find their niche in data science or maybe data analytics, or you want to help companies to increase their revenue or something, or you even want to help the government agencies. Determine who are the people you want to help. If you can't determine this, you will never know your audience. And I'll get to that. But one of the very important things you need to understand on LinkedIn is to know your audience, the kind of audience you are writing for, or you are sharing video for. I'll get to that. Don't let me jump. The third question is, what are the core topics you want to focus on? Maybe you've discovered that your backstory is that you are a data analyst, and then you want to help, let's say, you want to help companies to increase their revenues, or maybe you want to help community analysts like yourself, like people who are just coming. So, what are the core topics you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on intermediate topics, or beginner topic, or advanced topics? All these things you have to understand them. You know, the kind of topics you discuss, we sometimes determine the kind of people who relate with your post. The kind of topic you discuss will determine the kind of people who relate with your post. If you're posting about technical stuff, believe me, maybe you want to be relating with profs on LinkedIn. You understand? Now, how do you want to be perceived? This is the most important rule. This is the most important question you have to have in mind. How do you want to be perceived? I've talked about this briefly. You know, one of the most important currency that human being has is not money. The most important currency that human being has is not money. It is nothing other than your reputation. How do people feel about you? What do people see when they see you? Let me give you an instance. If tomorrow you go to a conference and you see Elon Musk, how would you feel? You've never met him before. You have never spoken with him before. But then, is what do you call it? His reputation precedes him. The way you feel with Elon Musk will be different from the way you feel with an ordinary gate man. I don't know if you're feeling me. So you have to keep your reputation. How do you want the people on LinkedIn? I mean, your consumers, your followers, your audience, how do you want them to perceive you? Do you want them to perceive you as somebody who is consistent on LinkedIn, or somebody who knows what he's doing, or somebody who just posts mediocre stuff, or somebody who just posts because other people are posting? How do you want to be perceived? You have to know this. You have to define it yourself. You have to have a standard. I always tell people that you don't do things because people are doing it. You have to analyze, assess yourself. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Is it because my friend is doing it? So if my friend is doing it, how will other people see me? People always say, don't care about people's opinion. Yes, that's all right. But when you are trying to reach a large amount of people, a large number of people, and you want to create value, you have to take note of how people perceive you. If it is one thing you want people to know about you, you should keep it. If it is honesty, you have to keep your honesty. If it is consistency, you have to keep your consistency. If it is, let's say, skill, you have to keep it. You understand? So these 4 questions, I will give it to you. You go back to it, ponder over it, and answer the questions. And then that will help you on how you can optimize your LinkedIn better. So can I move on to the next slide, please?
Yes, sir, you can move on.
Now, the real deal. How do we now optimize our profile? Like I said, this session is a practical class. I have a LinkedIn account too, and believe you me, I've opened it since I was in 200 level. And when I first when I first joined LinkedIn, it was like, where am I? A lot of people are here, a lot of professionals are here. I don't know anything, I'm playing with my life. And I started building it until today. I can tell you that my LinkedIn still needs some building. You understand? It still needs some optimizing. This is to tell you that optimization of LinkedIn is not something you do just once. You do it continuously. When you stop to optimize your LinkedIn, that means you have reached the pinnacle of your success, and you don't want to agree that if you reach the pinnacle of your success, because after every success, there's always another success. After every stage, there's always a new stage. When you're a beginner, you reach intermediate, you reach the professional. All these stages. There's always another stage after the highest stage. You understand? So how do we optimize your LinkedIn profile? So we'll be using my accounts and some other accounts, for example, and then you see how we optimize it one after the other. The first thing is to work on your URL. I know you may be thinking that is it necessary to work on your URL? Yes. If you are filling the form, I don't know if you have applied for some positions before, and they will ask you to put your email address, and then put some other, let me say, your Twitter handle, and then they will ask you to put your LinkedIn, your LinkedIn URL. Then you go to your LinkedIn, you go and copy it, and then the link you see will be very long. You know, the link will be very long. It is not always okay. It is not good to have your link like that when you can always customize your link. Like myself now, my link there's a way you can customize your LinkedIn link, your LinkedIn profile link, to have your name in it. So, and this is what we'll be working on here. So it's practical. So these are the steps. Go to the main icon on the top of your homepage, click on the settings and privacy, click on visibility, and then edit your URL. So I'll just go there now, and then please follow. If you can't see my screen, please alert me, and I'll find a way to correct it as soon as possible. I have a LinkedIn app on my system, and then I'll go through it. Can you still see my screen, please?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, this is my LinkedIn page, and this is my name, Abdurrahman Ridwanullah. And if you ask me to bring or to send you my profile, if I come here, you go to this is the main. If you follow what's in that book, you see. I mean, in that slide, you see it. Then you go to the settings, and then under the settings, you go to the visibility. Then you click on edit your public profile. So at this end, can you see something here? Edit your custom URL. Can you see it? Can you see it? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can see it.
So
Yes,
under
we
this,
can.
edit your custom URL. And good news is that some years back, you can't do this on your phone. Some years back, I've tried it before. Some years back, you can't edit your URL on your phone, but now you can always edit on your phone and your system. The same process in which you follow your system, the same process you follow your phone. Go to the main, go to the settings, go to the visibility, and then edit your link. And then you see this pencil is what you click. So my name is Abdurrahman Ridwanullah, and then I've already edited it before, and this is what I've been using. So you see it here. It will create an automatic link for you here, the one you cannot change, www.linkedin.com/in. Then you add what you want to add. And what you should add will be maybe your profile name or something very simple for your recruiter to be able to click. And then when you edit it, for instance, I may change it here. I may change it to Ridwan Abdurrahman or something. And then when you're done, when you've changed it, when you firstly get here, you see a very long link. So you delete all those ones, and then you input your name. And then mind you, don't put gap. It's a link. Don't put gap. So you save it. And after you have saved it, you see, it gives you a success. I mean, it gives you one success message. And then after you've saved it, you can now share this link to anybody. So if you go online and you copy this link, for instance, copy it, and then let's say I go here and I click Control V, okay. Link, LinkedIn, LinkedIn.com, right? And I click this. It will take me directly to my profile. When you submit this link to anybody, they can easily go to your profile. It is different from submitting a very long list, a very long link. You understand? So this is the first step, and I want you to do it. As you can see, it brought me back to my profile. So the second on the list is your banner image. Your banner image is just like, everybody here is familiar with. I assume everybody is familiar with Facebook. On Facebook, you have your profile picture and then you have your background picture, I think, right? So your banner image is just like the image at the back of your profile picture that shows. Some people don't put anything, some people put something. This particular image here, this particular image you see here is what's called the banner image. And then you can put anything on your banner image depending on what you are doing. I mean, you can really put anything there. You can just put the picture of a machine. You can put, if you're an engineer, you can put the picture of a machine. If you're an AI something, you can put something like that. In fact, you can even find a designer to design your picture on it and put it there. You understand? This one that I did here is not the best form of background image. It's not the best because it is not communicating anything. It's just showing my name and then my email address. It's not communicating, and that's why I said this profile that you're looking at, it needs more optimization. So, like I said, you can give it to a graphic designer to help you design a background image or something. But if you don't have a graphic designer or somebody who can help you with it, there is a way in which you can do it. And one way in which you can do it, this life is very free now. Like, we are very lucky to come in this era. Just go online and then search for LinkedIn banner images sample, maybe in Canva or something. And when you go there, Canva is free for you to use. You go to Canva and then you see a lot of samples, and then you see when you click it, I won't be going there. You see a lot of things here. So when you go to Canva, I want to be going on the practical section of this because it can take a lot of time. You have to edit, but when you go there, you see they are free and then you can edit. For instance, look at this one. This is very nice. Just put the name and then what the person is doing. You see, I think I designed something like I used this particular template. I used it on my own sometimes, and I can change it again. Let me say, okay. So that's it. You can use your Canva to design your background image. You find a lot of templates there, and then you come here. This pencil, whenever you see pencil, it means you can edit something, maybe you can change something. You understand? So you come here and say, let's say I want to change it. After you've designed it, you just come here, you put it there. You can crop if you need to crop. You can filter. You can adjust or something, and then you place it there. So that's that about that one. Let's move very fast. I think we have less than 30 minutes left, and I need to be very fast. Oh, what's wrong with this? Okay, let me move to the next point, which is on the profile picture. Yes, this profile picture, a lot of people, they have LinkedIn accounts, and then you see them just they just put a blurry picture. Let me give you a very quick scenario. Something happened last week. I was actually applying for a position, and then I got an interview. And immediately I got an interview. My interview was scheduled for, I think, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I had to pick the name of those people in that company. I placed it on LinkedIn. I wanted to see. So when I placed the names of those people on LinkedIn, the first thing that put me off was that I saw that these pictures that all the staff in that company are putting, these pictures are not, they are not professional. So I was like, is this company real? Because the company is an oil company, and then I researched about them. I saw their let me say their website online, and I followed it up. But when I got to LinkedIn, I saw the images, the profile images of their staff. Some staff have used 6 years in their company, and the picture they are using is very blurry. You shouldn't make that mistake. You know, one of the ways in which you can be, like, your recruiter can be discouraged is by the virtue of the image you put there. For instance, you are working as a tech, maybe a data analyst, and then you put a picture of, let me say, a goat on your profile. Does it make any sense? Doesn't make any sense. So you have to, or you put a picture of yourself, but it's not clear enough. Or maybe you put a picture of yourself when you are 3 years old. Doesn't make any sense, okay? You have to update yourself. If it means you going to the studio to take a picture, you go to the studio and take the picture. But even if it means you ask your friend to give you a very good snap, you have it. So these are the points. Get professional headshots for LinkedIn. Your photo should be clear, and then you don't want to use your full body photo. And again, smile if you can. You don't need to do like you're a social man. Everybody's hungry in Nigeria, but you don't need to. If you need to smile, you have to smile. So the next one is your name. How do you want your name to be? You see, I've heard people I've heard people talk about this name a lot. You may think that this name doesn't really mean anything, but the fact is that your name sometimes is what people use to remember you. If you have a unique name, people remember you easily than when they are cracking their brain to remember you. For instance, I will still use Elon Musk as example. Elon Musk has a unique name that you don't need to crack your brain to remember him. You may argue that, okay, maybe because he's the richest man on earth, that's why like we remember his name. But then tell me, how many Elon Musk do you know? The same with your name. My name is Abdurrahman Ridwanullah, yes. And there are a lot of people like that. But you see some people using a lot of variants. You see some people writing Ridwan Rahman, for instance. You see people write Ridwan Rahmani or something. But I have a particular order in which I put my name, Abdurrahman Ridwanullah. I didn't put a third name. It's my choice. I don't use a third name in any document. So anywhere you kind of see Abdurrahman Ridwanullah, even if there are other Abdurrahman Ridwanullah, you may see somebody who is Abdurrahman Ridwanullah Olayinka, Abdurrahman Ridwanullah Chinedu, or something like that. But when you see Abdurrahman Ridwanullah, you may easily know that, okay, this is the person you are talking about. So have a name which is unique. Use a unique name. Your first and your last name should be used. So, and they said it's advisable to use the same name across all platforms. Like I said, I use the same name across everything I do. So let your name correspond with your resume. For instance, you want to apply for a job and then the name on your resume is different from the name on your LinkedIn. Sometimes don't let that discrepancy occur. So let's move on. Your headline. Now, this headline is very, very important. It's very, very important. Why is it very, very important? It is that anytime you search for somebody's name on any search engine, this is what will pop up. For instance, let's see something. Let's assume I want to browse who is Abdurrahman Ridwanullah, for instance. There are a lot of Abdurrahman Ridwanullah, but then look at this. See what he brought? He brought Abdurrahman Ridwanullah, research assistant. Then that headline, it is what we give a brief summary about you. A summary which should be which should be sufficient about you to let people know, okay, this is who we are really searching for. Abdurrahman Ridwanullah, as you can see from here, is a first-class graduate of agriculture engineering. He's doing smart agriculture, he's doing artificial intelligence, and he's working in Gombe State University. This is somehow enough. A recruiter will be like, okay, I want to know this guy more. They'll click it. Okay, he had first class. Okay, he's doing smart agriculture. What has he done? And then all these things, they are very important. And how do you do it? How do you create your headline? Okay, I will be very fast now. I may not need to do the practical mode because we have just less than 18 minutes now. So I'll just be fast because we still have another topic to talk on. So your headline, you follow this. Headline is the phrase that appears below your name. It also appears in searches before anyone clicks your profile. So how do you write it? You write maybe what you do and who you do it for, the result achieved, and other things you need to put. For instance, you may put data analysis at Remita, and then what do? You create business dashboards and solutions, and then what other things do? You're a freelance worker at Upwork. All these things are very important. And then the last point here I want you to take note is this. You don't need to use all these big words, all these full words. Always put something at the back of your mind. How do you distinguish yourself from the crowd? How do you distinguish yourself from the crowd? Recently, I reached out to a mentor on LinkedIn, and then I told her to help me do something. And then one of the invaluable advice she gave me is that there are 1,001 people who are vying for the same position you are looking for. There are 1,000 people looking for the same position you are looking for. How do you distinguish yourself? You see, a lot of people will say, a large number of people will say, okay, this is what I do. I'm a problem solver. I'm a problem solver. I'm a creative. I think critically. I'm a critical thinker. I do this. I do that. All these generic English words that don't really have meaning. You should avoid them. You should avoid them. No, you be creative in your use of words. So your location history, this particular aspect is where it's talking about where you are currently, and it may not be really important for everybody, but then it may be important for people who are looking for, let's say, remote job, or people who are looking to get a, I mean, not remote job. If, for instance, you are looking for a job and then the job is in Lagos and then you are in Ilorin and they require you to come to the, like, it is not a remote job, you have to show that you can relocate. You can relocate from where you are to that place. So this particular section on your LinkedIn is where you can tell them, okay, this is where I am, but I'm open to relocation, or I'm open to remote job. So if you're open to relocation, you indicate it there. Follow these steps and you can edit anything you want to edit there. Now your about section. This about section is very, very important. It is as important as this your headline. In fact, if not more important than the headline. It is a brief, like, it gives you an avenue to talk about yourself at all length. At length. Why this headline gives you an opportunity to talk about yourself briefly, this about section gives you an opportunity to talk about yourself at length. But then a lot of people make a lot of mistakes about this in this about section. They kind of write, let me say, novels as if they are Wole Soyinka's younger brother. You understand? You don't need to use big words when you're talking about your about. You want to make things easy for people who want to recruit you. You can't imagine that I want to recruit you, I want to give you a job, and then I still crack my brain to understand what you're trying to do. I mean, what you are doing. Put simple English and let me know. Okay, this is what you do. This is what you've been doing. So when you want to write your about section, answer these questions: Who are you? What do you do? Who do you do it for? And how can we contact you? Simple as that. But you can just tweak it. So start with an engaging opening statement and show personality. Highlight your unique accomplishment using the star approach. Means the situation on ground when you join the company, for instance, the task, and then the action you took and the results. That's the star approach. You understand? And then always conclude with a CTA. Your call to action should be something like, how do we contact you? Maybe your email address or maybe your phone number or something. You understand? Start with a hook and end with something very genuine, very, very reasonable. So in this particular aspect, I plan to show you two particular about section, and I want you to tell me which one do you like most. The first one is this. I know time has gone, but I really want to show you this. So there is one guy who is my friend. So I love the way he wrote his about section, and I will show you the two about section. Okay. Look at this. Okay, I've even searched him. So everything boils down to how creative you are. You don't need to use big English. You don't need to, like, use things that, okay, look at this about section of this guy. He's my friend and a mentor too. So let us go through this about section for a while and see briefly and see whether it's okay. How do you feel when you read it? This guy is very creative. If you go through his post, you see that this guy is a storyteller and people relate with his talk most times. Oh boy. I'm not trying to message you, bro. Sorry for the glitch. Okay. I just want to show us how dynamic you can be with your about section and how catchy it can be. Look at this guy. This guy is a very good storyteller, and look at what he wrote about section. You don't need to look at him. This is one approach. There are a lot of approaches you can use. You see, he said, I was walking through a garden one sunny afternoon, and out of nowhere, a bug that seemed to be minding its own business, cross-pollinating, sprung up and stung me. The doctor said it was a blockchain bug. Now I can't stop seeing the opportunity for decentralization and this. More importantly, I can't stop writing and coding about it. I post interesting decentralized something about this. You see, this guy, how many lines? Just 6 lines or 7 lines, and he's able to convey what it does for us. From here, we can know that okay, this guy is into, let's say, decentralization or all this kind of thing. So if you go through the post of this guy, he always posts. You see, he always tells stories. There is one thing that this guy said. He said, the most powerful people on earth, are the storytellers. Steve Jobs. So it means if you can tell a compelling stories, people will be able to relate with you, and then they'll be able to relate with your post, and they'll be able to connect with you easily instead of using big words. Don't mind you, everything boils down to your audience. Let me see another post. Another person. This is also my mentor and friend. Okay. Let's look at this about section. So look at it. Look at it. If you go through it, actually this has a lot of words more than the first one, but he's able to detail everything it does. Kabir Muhammad is this is what he has done, and at the end of it all, he said, you can check out my profile at this. This is just like a CTA call to action, and then you see everything. He's able to tell about everything he's been doing. So everything, all in all, what I'm trying to say is that when you're writing your about section, you have to be creative. You don't necessarily need to use big words. You don't necessarily need to use big English, and you don't necessarily need to limit yourself. You can talk as much as possible about yourself on that section, but then you have to be careful not to bore who is ready to hire you. I hope that is clear. So then your experience section. Now this experience section, I'll just talk about it briefly because there is no much to talk about on it. Now, experience section. If, for instance, you ask about your work experience, you've worked in the company before, how do you relay your experience? There's a way you can relay your experience. I mean, on that LinkedIn, if you go to my LinkedIn account, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you see the experiences. You see it there. You can find a way to put your experiences there. So this is my experience. So if you want to add new experience, just click on this, and then you put everything you've done. Now there are just some things you need to take note of, and those are the things on these slides. You have to, when you are describing your role, you don't just put the title like say, okay, I'm a research assistant. And research assistant of what? What are you doing as a research assistant? Okay, I'm a research assistant at AI and robotics lab, and this is what we do there. This is what I've done. You have to be creative. You don't just put the title. Or let me say, I'm the CEO of Redov company. What does Redov company do? What does, all this kind of thing. You have to be creative. And then you answer the following questions. What did you do for the company? What problems did you identify and solve? How does your work impact the company? You share all these KPIs with us. And then if you don't have an experience at all, what do you write? Some of us, we are just beginners, and then we're worried. They say before you can get a job, you need experience. And then before you can get experience, you need to work on something. How do you relate your experience here? If you don't have a job here, you don't have a job yet, but maybe you are working as a freelancer, maybe you work from, and when I say working as a freelancer, it doesn't necessarily mean working on Upwork or freelancer, or freelancer app. You can be working as a freelancer man to man, maybe between you and your lecturers. I remember when I was in school, I used to work sometimes for some of my lecturers, and then when I work for them, they just give me some tasks, and then I'll do it for them. And then some of them they pay me, some of them did not pay me. But then everything is accumulating as part of experience. So I cannot graduate and say I don't have an experience. You understand? All these things are experience, even though it's not under your company. So how do you write it? So if you can follow this one will help you. I don't want to waste much of our time. But then you can just use this. You can create a company. If you have any question on this later, maybe you can let me know, and then we go through it. So your education section, like I said earlier at the beginning of this webinar, we have a lot of people on LinkedIn. We have professionals, we have academics. So the profile of the academics will be different from the profile of people who are working in the industry. So, but for somebody who is working in the industry, the education section may not be as very important to him as it will be to somebody who is working in academics. So, but then when you want to input your education section, make sure you put the name of the school you graduated from, and then you may need to add the date of graduation. If you have a very good CGPA, let's say you have a first class or a very strong 2-1, you can put it. But if you know that this thing will be maybe a shoot in the leg, you don't need to put it. You understand? So your skill section, you add your skills too. So, and that's when you go over this, and I want to tell you that these things that we've talked about, it is not a day job. You have to continue to build it. You have to continue. The more you get improvements, the more you update your LinkedIn. You understand? The more you get your improvement, the more you update your LinkedIn. Now, these aspects, how to build your network. We've talked about what you can control yourself. I mean, your profile, your link, your about section. Then how do you build your own network? The first thing you should have in mind is that you are not writing for yourself. You are not creating for yourself. You are creating for your consumer. So whenever you are writing or you are making a video or you are making a post, don't put yourself as the reader. No, see from the reader's point of view, from the reader's mind. You want to evoke some emotion from the reader. You want the reader to be able to nod their head and say, this makes sense. You understand? There are a lot of approaches in which people write. You know, some people they are born writer, they are gifted. Some people are not born gifted. But when you see some people they write, they just write like a robot. You be like, is this person an AI? Is this person using an AI to write? You know, there's no emotion. But like I said earlier on, everything still boils down to who are your audience. For instance, if you are writing to professionals, let's say academicians, like professors, you may not need to put more of emotions in that kind of report or in that kind of post. Maybe your audiences are people who are working in the university. You may not need to evoke some emotion. But if you are writing, if your audience are some people, are students or people who are in the society trying to grow as data analysts or data scientists, and you want them to understand some stuff, you can use their day-to-day activities to explain some things to them. You can break down these things. You can even use, for instance, you can just say, I was sweeping, and then you use all those kind of day-to-day activities to evoke emotion that they can relate with. So, all in all, everything boils down to what? To your audience. Always put your audience first. Do you want to write as a report writer? Do you want to write as a descriptive writer? All this kind of thing, you should take note of it. If you are somebody that writes as a report writer, then you know your audience are different from somebody who is writing as a descriptive writer. As for me, personally, I love descriptive writing. I mean, I love to paint words, and I feel like when I paint words, and whenever I want to write, there's something I do. I try to go into my emotion, and then I try to be real as much as possible. When you are real with yourself, when you are writing and you are real, people will be able to feel what you feel, and then they'll be able to consume it. They'll be able to relate. Not that you are just forcing yourself to write some things which is not there. You evoke emotions. So that's by the way. Now, how do you connect with relevant people? The first in which you can use, which is very relevant, is LinkedIn search. You can just use your keywords and filters to find people in your field and follow or connect with them. I told you briefly that I told you earlier on that I connected with a mentor recently on LinkedIn, and then I asked her some questions, and since then we've been relating. She has even helped me a lot. Now, when I wanted to search for her, I didn't know her exact name, but what I know is that she's a scholar. She got this scholarship, and then she's working in artificial intelligence, something like that. So I just went to my LinkedIn, for instance, and just click, let's say, AI engineer, for instance. You can put Lagos, all this kind of thing. Then it will bring a lot of things out. It will bring posts, it will bring people. So you see, it's bring out people. So from here, you can go through their profile, see what they've done before, see the courses they've done before, or some things they've done before. You understand? You see a lot of people, you go through them. If it is post you are looking for, you go through it. If it is job you are looking for, you go through it, and then you streamline. And then whenever you're asking for help, don't be afraid. I've seen people, they'll be like, I don't know what this person will say. I don't know. I don't know how to, how to, I don't want to sound rude. But trust me, nobody cares. Nobody really cares. Just pass your information. The worst is for them not to reply you. But if you don't DM somebody, they will never come to you. You understand? So don't be scared. Search for people, go to their DM, study them, and you may not necessarily go to their DM immediately. You may want to gain some background knowledge about them. You may want to know, okay, this is what this person has done. You may want to know where this person is coming from, and then you can always DM. Then your LinkedIn group, you can join groups, your AI groups. There are a lot of AI groups on LinkedIn. Just search for it, and then there was a time I presented a paper at a conference, and then I met a man, and the man, that time I was still in university, and the man, he never believed that I was still in the university. He thought I'm a master student or something. By the virtue of the topic I delivered, and probably the way I delivered it. So the man was impressed, and he was like, he only came to Nigeria because of that conference. And at that particular point, we exchanged numbers. We knew each other, and then we've been communicating since then. Now, assuming I did not go to that event, will I meet him? I have no meeting. So that's one of the importances of going to events. Go to events, and when you go to events, don't be a passive attendant. When you go there, if you need to ask question, ask question. If you need to connect, connect. If you need to DM, DM. You understand? Engagement, engage people's posts. Some people be like, this thing doesn't really concern me. Okay, I'll just scroll. But when you engage people, you are already creating visibility for yourself. The more people see your engagement, the more you gain visibility, and the more people engage your own post too. You understand? There are two kind of, okay, I'll get there. But always engage people's discussion. And irrespective of the person, even if it means it is the president of Nigeria that posts something, you need to engage. You understand? You don't know. One day he may reply you. There is a particular question that somebody posted sometime. He said, getting, let's say, $1 million, for instance, and having a picture with Ronaldo, which one will you take? And then some people were saying, I'll take the money. And then somebody said, I'll take the picture with Ronaldo because it will generate more income for me than taking the money. This is just an example, because when Dangote, for instance, reposts your post or reply your post, the impression it will get will be very much than when it is just there. I don't know if you get me. So I've engaged people post before online, and then I've seen some people replied me, and I was like, wow, this person can reply. You understand? So that's it. Then the last one is cold emails. The cold emails. Okay, there's a particular one I forgot to put. Cold emails is when you go to people's DM. You don't know them before, but you just go to DM and you tell them, oh, this is my name, and this is what I need, and this is what I've been doing. Now, how do you private chat people that you don't know before? Don't be scared. You maybe think like, I don't want to sound rude, but then I've attached a link here. When you go through this link, you see some format of code emails. If you have any other questions about it, you can ask on the group, and then we can interact together and see how we can do it. You understand? These code emails that you see, the link that you see here, it was not compiled by me. It was compiled by my friend, but I just give it out to you for everybody to see, go through it, and you can make advantage of that. Now, the last one that I forgot to put on this slide that I just remember now is the recommendation. Recommendation is important on LinkedIn. A lot of people neglect it, but it's very, very important. Let's go to my profile and let me show you something. And there is a way you can get recommendation. When people want to recruit you sometimes, they don't want to see from your lens alone. They want to see from other people's lens. You have been telling us that this is you, this is what you've been doing. But then, can other people attest what you are doing? Can other people say, okay, this is Ridwan, this is what I know about him? So you get recommendation from people. It can be from your friends, it can be from your lecturers, it can be from people who worked with together. Now, I have only one recommendation here, and I'll tell you how I have it and how I plan to have more. If you come here, see this recommendation. This recommendation was given to me by my friend. This particular friend, we went to university together, and then we've been friends for more than, let's say, 6 or 7 years now. See what he gave me as recommendation. He said, Iranla is one of the smartest and hardworking individuals I've had the fortune to meet during my undergraduate studies. As you can see from this place, he is telling us that this is where he knew Ridwanullah. He didn't know Ridwanullah from childhood, but he knew him right from the university. and then is an invaluable asset to any team. All these are just to attest to something about me. And then see what I gave him. I told him I also went to his profile and I gave him a recommendation. I said, I've known Shehu Ibrahim for more than half a decade, like 6 years, saying the same thing as he said, but in another language. And his commitment and leadership skills throughout this period are top notch. He's the guy you want to execute your top project, but he brings not only his skill to the table, but also his art. He's an invaluable asset you want on your team. So how did we get this? Like I said, you may not likely get your recommendation from people you have not worked with or from people you don't know, but people you know each other, maybe your friends that you've spent some years together, you can just tell them, guy, let me write a recommendation for you, and he writes for you based on a true account of what happened between the two of you. Another thing is this: you might have collaborated with some people on a particular project together, and then you saw the way somebody did hard work. I mean, somebody was hard working on that particular team. You can just give that person a recommendation on LinkedIn. Okay, this person, we worked together on the particular project, and then his hard working was, all this kind of thing, and the person will reciprocate. And by that, you are getting more recommendation. This helps a lot. Currently, I have one recommendation, and that's why I said my LinkedIn account needs more work. It needs more optimization. If you go here, there are a lot of things I could have done. For instance, in this experience section, there are a lot of work I need to do on it. In this, I mean, even in this picture that I put here, I still need to put some work, some engaging work on it. So that's that about that. I'm sorry I didn't put recommendation, but I observe. I believe that you must have gained what I'm trying to tell you about. Now, the last one, the last aspect before we close the webinar. Our time is fast spent. The coordinator, can I still continue, please?
Yeah, you can continue. Well done.
Thank you. Now, the last aspect that we'll be going on to is becoming a creator. I wrote here that there are two types of people in the world: the doers and the consumers. I mean, not even on LinkedIn. Some people come to this world, you see them, they are doing things, they're working, and then there are some people, they'll be talking about them, they'll be gossiping, and they'll be receiving information about them. Oh, look at him, he's going to work again. Look at him, this is what he's doing again. They are the one consuming your action. You understand? And you can never create value if you don't become a manufacturer, if you don't become somebody who is doing, if you don't become somebody who people are learning from, who people are trying to gain information from. When you go to Twitter, for instance, you see people, a lot of people are on Twitter, but most of them, they're passive. They're not posting. And then those people that are posting are the ones that are making money from Elon Musk money. You see? That's just a very little example. Then on LinkedIn too, you don't want to be somebody who is just observing. Develop high blood pressure, because who is like your younger one and is doing marvelous thing, I'll be like, oh more, I'll be crunching your kuli. You understand? So you need to become a creator yourself too. So be a creator. And how do you become a creator? Like I said earlier on at the beginning of my presentation, you don't want to be a mediocre creator. You don't want to be posting because other people are posting. You don't want to be posting on something that doesn't worth it. Like posting that, hey, congratulations to me, I just finished my lunch. Are you crazy, bro? You understand? So you don't have to be like that. You have to keep your what do you call it? You have to keep your personality in check. You have to keep your what do I call it right time? I mean, what is it? The way people look at you, you have to keep it in check. So on LinkedIn, the best way to leverage is to be a creator and not just a consumer. You must have been on LinkedIn, you've seen people posting, so you have to switch from being a consumer to a manufacturer. Now, there are different kinds of content you can post on LinkedIn. You can post articles, you can post videos, you can post, and then how do you create engaging content? Now, that will lead us to the second thing I was supposed to talk about. I mean, the second program we are supposed to talk about today. And I believe the second speaker will be talking on that, and that is on the Tekemba challenge. So the more information about it will come after I'm done with my presentation, but I'm just gisting you about it. I'm just giving you a sneak peek. This Tekemba challenge is a kind of, we are creating a community of data analysts and data engineers and data scientists and machine learning engineers. And then we want people to not only learn the skills, we also want them to be gaining, like they will be promoting themselves and to become creators on LinkedIn. So this Tekemba challenge is a challenge to everybody on our group, whether you're a data analyst, or whether you're a data scientist or a machine learning engineer, we need you to participate in this Tekemba challenge. And it's we hold for 2 months, November and December. So more information about it will be discussed with you after I'm done with my stuff. But what I'm talking about now will be helpful for you on how to participate in the Tekemba challenge. Now, how do you create engaging content? You know, there is nothing as sad to a tailor than sewing a clothes that nobody is putting on. There's nothing as sad to a wife than cooking food and your husband is neglecting it. You understand? There's nothing as sad to a writer than writing a book and nobody's reading it. And as a creator on LinkedIn, nothing should bother you than writing a post and nobody's engaging it, nobody's reading it. How do you write engaging content? The first one, and I've said it earlier, is that know your audience. Know your audience. Your audience will determine the kind of style you will use. Is it a narrative style you want to use? Is it descriptive style you want to use? Or do you just want to be reporting? Or you are the one that wants to talk deeply, you want to talk on technical stuff that need high top professionals to read. So know your audience. That's the first thing. You understand? Know your audience. Your audience will guide you on how you will write. You don't just write because the way everybody is writing. You may learn from people, then know your audience. The second thing is what? Tell stories. Like I said, Steve Jobs, he said the most powerful people on earth are those people, are the storytellers. And the reason is this. I argue most times with those people I argue with them that storytelling is more powerful than facts. Storytelling is more powerful than facts. Believe you me, before I went to the north, well, probably I have some understanding about the north, well, probably because I stayed in the north. But the way a lot of people see the north is different from the reality the north is having. You know, when you talk about the north in Nigeria, some people will think that the north is full of illiterate people who are in the bush. You know, the way some people think. Some people will think that the north is full of barbaric people, and then the reality is saying different. The North, so the statistics is telling you that the North have the richest people. Even the richest man in Africa is from the North. But then some people will tell you that their region is the richest. They are the most hardworking. Why is it like that? It is as a result of constant storytelling, continuous storytelling that we are telling each other that okay, these are who we are, this is who we are, and this storytelling are different from the facts. If you keep telling people that petrol is this, petrol is this, petrol is this, they will not listen to you, even if you are advocating something. But tell them about how you feel about petrol, they will listen to you. And that's how it comes to telling stories. You must find a way to evoke emotions in your post. Let people relate with what you are posting about. Even if it is about machine learning, let people relate with it. I remember my Oga, who is also on this call, he wrote a book sometimes about a data analysis, a data science, and he gave me to also read it. So when I read it, I was feeling it. It was bringing day-to-day examples in that book that I was able to engage. In fact, if you give that book to somebody who is in secondary school, the person will be able to relate with it because it was using examples that such a person can relate with it. You understand? So that is the power of storytelling. A lot of people will accept you, they will listen to you. Look at the kind of, go and check the Mustafa Barua LinkedIn provider I told you. If you see some of his posts, he tells stories. A lot of people, they tell stories, okay? You understand? So I'm not saying you should not use facts, but then tell stories more. The third one is use compelling visuals. When you are telling stories, one of the best way to get to people's brain is to use visuals. They say an image worth a lot of information, right? So when you use visuals, people they will easily grasp what you are trying to tell them. So you can use charts, you can use maybe pie chart or something, or maybe a picture of something that happens. I believe you understand what I'm trying to say here. Just drop a picture somewhere and people will understand you rather than saying 1,000 words. So these three, you have to take note of them. And the last one and the most important one is to be consistent. When you are creating engaging content, you have to be consistent. And as you can see, I mentioned this three times. You have to be consistent. Even if it means you will only be posting once in a week, maintain it. Not like you just post today and then after 6 months, you will not post again. I believe I know and I understand that it's very hard. In fact, me that I'm speaking, I'm guilty of that. Okay, what is this? I said, don't be scared of criticism and don't be shy to create. So a lot of people online, they'll be like, I don't have enough. I mean, I've not done enough. Truly, there are some mediocrity you see on LinkedIn. To be factual, there are some mediocrity you see on LinkedIn. It's people posting about things that are irrelevant, that to me they don't want to be celebrated. But then you don't want to limit yourself. Whatever you do, you post. Whatever you do, you post. Whatever you do, you post. So don't think like I don't have enough. If you are thinking like that, you never post because you never have enough. So don't be scared of criticism, right? Let people see your flaws. When they see your flaw today, you improve tomorrow. That's just it. You understand? The professional you are seeing today was once a beginner. So, and then don't be shy to create. Don't be shy. You may be thinking, now, there's a reason why I put don't be shy here. There's a reason why I put don't be shy. I want to share from my own personal experience. You know, I said something. I said that my friend who introduced me to LinkedIn, there was a time when I saw his profile on LinkedIn and I was scared. I was like, Ibrahim, this Ibrahim I knew that we sleep together in the same room. It's not the same Ibrahim I'm seeing on LinkedIn. Ibrahim on LinkedIn is an engineer, he's this, he's that. Ibrahim is big on LinkedIn than in reality. Then I decided, because he advised me, so I decided to brand my LinkedIn too. So I put a lot of things there that time. I've removed most of those things now. So I put a lot of things that I don't even know. You understand? Oh God. I put HTML something, CSS something, Python. I put everything. I put everything there. So after a long time, I felt it reluctant to make a post. Why? Because I was feeling reluctant to make a post is that I was shy that people that have written that I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, they've always seen me as this, as that. They don't see me as somebody who is just beginning to learn Python again. I don't know if you understand that. So I was really shy to post that. So I had to look inward again, and then I deleted most of those stuff, and then I started from the scratch, and then I started making posts. So why you should not be shy is that the people you don't know, and that you're going to know are more than the people you know. Always have this at the back of your mind. The people you currently know, if you know 1 million people, there are billions of people on it. I don't even know you, and you don't even know them. So why are you shy because champion? You want to be known worldwide. So don't be shy. Whether you've written something before that, whether you've posted before that, okay, I'm an engineer, this and that, whether you've posted before, you want to be real with yourself. You want to know who you are. You want to let the world know who you are. So don't be shy. Even if it means you are just starting to learn about how to use scikit-learn. Bro, write what you know. You understand? Don't be shy and don't be scared. So it's not a matter of what you know alone. Be good at what you do, but then let people also know you are good at what you do. So in conclusion, I believe that you gain 1 or 2 things from the discussion we've had, and then you must have learned how to optimize your LinkedIn and how to make new connections and how to make posts. So by the grace of God, I wish everybody success in all their endeavors. And I hope that by the end of the year, when we have covered the next challenge that we had, I briefly talked about the Tekemba challenge, everybody here would have been creators. Believe me, when you make the first post, once you make the first post on LinkedIn, nothing will stop you to continue again. You have the confidence. That's just it. You have the confidence. You just need to make that first post. You understand? So by the grace of God, I wish everybody success in all their endeavors. So everybody go into the world, go into LinkedIn, network meaningfully. Thank you so much for being here with me. Once again, my name is Abdurrahman Idonullah, and you can contact me from that number and my email address. So if there's any question, I'm open to question, and then if there's any more discussion you need to discuss, I'm open to that. So thank you. I'll hand the mic to the coordinator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. The session was an interesting, exciting, and educative one. Thank you very much. I'm sure we all enjoyed this. So now, please let's have a quick question and answer session. Anyone that has a question can unmute themselves and ask. So please, let's be fast about it. Time is fast spent. Hello, can anyone hear me? No one has question to ask.
Hello. Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
So I don't really have a question. I just want to ask if we can get the slide for the first presentation for the optimization, LinkedIn optimization.
Yeah,
Mr. Ridwan.
this slide,
Okay.
this slide will be sent to the group. Hello.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. We'll be expecting.
All right.
Okay, good evening. I have a question. Can you hear
Okay, you
me?
can go on.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you. Go on.
You mentioned you talked about mentors and job opportunities on LinkedIn, and then I tried to go through the link he shared on the slide, and I noticed it's just for job requests. So I want to ask if there is a special way to approach people that you want them to be your mentor on LinkedIn. I want to ask if there is a special template set for them or there's a special way to approach them rather than seeking for job opportunity from them. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for the question. That's a wonderful question that I feel like everybody needs to understand. Yeah. Uh, you know, I normally tell people that when you want somebody to be your mentor, you don't tell them that I want you to be my mentor. When you tell somebody, hey, hello sir or hello ma, I want you to be my mentor, there is high chance that that person will be a mentor at all. They will feel like you are not serious because you telling somebody that I want you to be my mentor. The literal meaning or the subtle meaning is that I want to be disturbing you. I want to be coming to you when I have any question, and I want you to be monitoring my development, my growth, and you know sometimes I may not have data, you may also help me with data sometimes, all those kind of things. And to be honest, you may not mean that, but based on the experience that that person has had, I mean, the person you want to be a mentor, he has mentored a lot of people and he has seen a lot of things, he has seen a lot of category of people. Some people are not serious about it. So you be like, you are just like one of them. So the approach is not to go to the person and tell them, I want you to be my mentor. Don't mention it to them. Can't mention it. Now, the best way to let somebody be your mentor is by giving them the chance to be your mentor without you asking them to be your mentor. How does that sound? If I want somebody to be a mentor on LinkedIn, the first thing I need to do is I need to be studying what the person is posting. I need to be engaging what the person is posting. And then when I engage what the person is posting, by I may be asking questions on his post. It's not once. I may not even go to his DM that particular day. And then I check him out on social media. I feel like, okay, this is the person, this is the person. This is this person. Now, remember, I'm also a creator. One day, I may just try that. This post, I may write a post about something. I'll be like, I find a way to tag him to that post, like saying, this post was inspired by so and so. According to the post he posted on this particular day. He will see the post, he may comment, he may not comment. Whether he comments or not is none of your concern. He's seeing it. Another day, somebody may say something and you may say, okay, Doctor something or Mr. something. You tag him that Mr. Something like let me say judging or let me say proving my point with the words of Mr. So and so. We say something this particular day. So you will see that too, and that person will have a sense that this particular person is following me. Whether he talks or not, if you know that somebody is following him or her. Now, after you've done that for a while, someday you just go to his DM or a DM and then you don't ask for help. Just like I've been working on something like this before, and then I've been working on something and I got error here. I don't know. Based on your experience, you can just share me. I would appreciate if you can schedule a call, maybe a call or something, and then he may not give you his phone number. Don't ask. He may not give you that. So, but he may send you voice note on LinkedIn. He may say, let's have a call, and from there, when you have a call, he tells you the solution. You implement the solution. You also give him feedback, and you thank him. So after some time, you also do that again. By that, you did not tell him you want him to be your mentor, but then gradually he's starting to notice you and he's mentoring you directly or indirectly. Believe you me, one day, you be the one to come to your DM and ask you, hey, I have something. Can you do this for me quickly? It may be a task. It may not bring you money, but you have to do it. And then when you do it, gradually you get to know each other and you get your number. This I'm telling you is an approach I've used before. There was a time I was on. I mean, I've used the two approach before. The two approaches. I've made the mistake of telling somebody I want you to be my mentor, and it failed. And the second one I'm telling you, I've done it before, and it's worked well. I spoke to this particular man. He's one that created a company in Ogun State, and then I kept following him. I kept engaging him, and then his company is based on artificial intelligence and agriculture, and it's clear to what I want to do. And then there was a day I just went to his GM and I told him everything I told you about. And then he collected my number and he gave me a call. And we had something close to 1 hour call. And since then, we've been talking on WhatsApp. But the first person I went to and I told him I want you to be my mentor, I even made a mistake of asking him to give me his number. Neither his number nor his time. I didn't get either of the two. So you should not make that mistake. So if you want somebody to be your mentor, in short words, don't tell them to be your mentor. Give them the opportunity to be your mentor without you asking. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, does anyone else have a question to ask? Okay, I cannot see any hands and nobody is speaking. So I think we've come to the end of the webinar. Thank you all for joining. Mr. Ridwan, thank you very much for the wonderful session. Mr. Mohammed, thank you very much. Really appreciate.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much. Please,
everyone.
before we cut the call, before we end this webinar, I would like to hear the voice of everybody on this call. Since we are not that many, we are not that much, so everybody should say something. We've talked about the Tekemba challenge. Will you join us in the Tekemba challenge? I mean, what's the preparation towards it? How is your idea about it? So please, let us unmute ourselves one after the other and tell us, even if it is no more than a line. Thank you.
Please, are we there?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, my name is Ibrahim Bello.
Okay, you're
Uh,
welcome.
I want to appreciate our bosses, all my mentors who have just spoken in this webinar, and also I want to personally appreciate Mr. Suleiman for giving us the opportunity to be part of this webinar. To Mr. Ridwan Allah, I want to say thank you so much, sir, because uh, I'm one of the beneficiary of the just concluded webinar because my LinkedIn account is just like a desert, just as you have stated. So I think the optimization will go a long way in helping me. And in regarding the Tech Ember challenge, sir, I think I would still like to get more enlightenment on that again from Mr. Suleiman, if it will be possible. Not possibly today, but moving forward, sir. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Mr. Suleiman, are you there? Hello? Okay. So did you hear what he said? Okay, so he said you'll be needing more enlightenment. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Does anyone else want to speak before we end the session?
Yeah, actually, I think we need everybody to speak tonight. Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim Bello, for your comments. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Now, can Maimuna Abubakar and Asha Memra, can you unmute yourself and speak?
Mm-hmm. Are they sleeping?
Hello, are you there? Oh, okay.
Oh,
Let's pass the mic to Mr. Ahmad Adam.
Mr. Ahmed, are you there? Are we sleeping?
All
Okay.
right. No problem.
Mr. Suleiman, you said what? Can you come again? Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay, thanks so much, sir, for that.
Hmm. Mr. Ibrahim, thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Ahmed is not available. Mrs. Maimuna is not available. So, I
I'm
think.
available.
Okay.
Mm.
So, are you going
So,
to join the Tech Ember Challenge?
um, for now, we are still trying to grab our feet. We still want to know more on the challenge before we go.
Okay. So, by the grace of God, inshallah, Mr. Suleiman will be talking more about it on the group so that we know more about, get more information about it.
Okay, that will be good.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ridwan, are you still there?
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining the call. I think we can end the webinar now.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So, if there's any other question, we can drop it on the group, and further discussion we can discuss. So, thank you, everybody. Good night, and have a
Thank you
peaceful night
very
rest.
much.
Okay, thank
And
you
good
so
night.
much, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Welcome. Good night.
Thank you so much, sir. Good night.